Magandang araw sa lahat ng ating mga tagapakinig. Narito na naman tayo sa Kasama Radio 103.5, ang himig ng kasaysayan. Ang inyong kasama sa kakaibang mundo ng musika at balita.
My name is Mary Maxine Ariamo. I am Erica Kirsten Seralta.
And I'm Hannah Jean Tigasha, and we will talk about
The Philippines' popular culture, which is radio. So before anything else, let's first have a brief history about the Philippine radio from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. How did it started? When did it started? Who established the first radio station, and many more about our culture or about our popular culture here in the Philippines, which is the radio that is still standing until now that we are in the 2023. So let's check it out, learn and discover about the Philippine radio. This popular culture in the Philippines, which is radio, has actually a very rich history from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, which dated back in the early 20th century. And the first ever radio station that was established was called KZKZ. It was an AM radio station and it started broadcasting in 1924. An AM station, which means it is using an amplitude modulation transmission. And for you to know, the man who established this first radio station in the Philippines is an American man whose name is Henry Herman. So Henry Herman, founder of the Electrical Supply Company in Manila, gained permission possibly from local government and the military to operate more than one station. The test broadcast delivered music over the air to wealthy residents who owned radio receivers. This network of test broadcasts, however, was summed up into one 100-watt powered AM station bearing the call letters KZKZ on 729 kHz. And then later on, Radio Corporation of the Philippines or RCP bought KZKZ in October 1924. So they owned it na later in October 1924. And then the RCP expanded in Cebu, putting up KZRC Radio Cebu in 1929, which is by the way now called DYRC. And just a history of the first radio station, which is KZKZ. The KZ was used because the Philippines was then a colony of America, or during that time when we were colonized by the USA. All call letters of radio stations in the US started either with K or W. And then here comes Francisco Coco Trinidad, known as the father of Philippine broadcasting, attended the International Telecommunications Union or ITU in 1947, held in Atlantic City in the US. And then D was originally for German stations. Professor Elizabeth Enriquez of UP Manila, on her research, explained why Philippine radio station call letters start with D and why it actually meant Deutschland or the German name of Germany. Trinidad proposed to use RP instead of KZ, but this was denied by the ITU and gave that to stand for Republic of the Philippines. So RP as Republic of the Philippines. In lieu of the American KZ, Coco wanted the world to know about the newly independent republic through the radio call letters. The ITU rejected this call or the call letters RP because of the amount of trouble it would take to secure the approval of the entire international body and the international changes that might have become necessary for such a change. All radio programs back in the day or during this time were English. They resemble pretty much like those radio shows heard from the continental US because during this time we are colonized by the United States and that our radio programs back in this day were all English or in English language.
Americans were the first radio managers and performers, setting the format, tone, and technical quality of programming. American English filled the air, spiced with the American sense of humor.
So much has happened to the Philippine radio industry with the history of our Philippine radio or how radio became a pop culture in the Philippines. So just a trivia, there is actually a debate on what exactly was the first radio station in the country. As we all know, in 1924, an American established the first AM radio station called KZKZ, which was Henry Herman. But an archive of radio broadcast histories revealed that in 1922, an American woman named Mrs. Redgrave made a test broadcast using a 5-watt transmitter. While little is known about Redgrave's experiment, it is believed that a test broadcast made from Nichols Field, now William Moore Air Base, could be the very first radio station in the Pearl of the Orient. And then, according to a historian, the Philippines was the first Asian country to operate a radio station ahead of China and even New Zealand. AM radio stations used to be in English, and now all announcers in the Philippines speak vernacular like Filipino, Visayan, and Mindanaoan language and dialects, of course.
The language of broadcasting changed. There were Tagalog programs before the war, but English was the dominant language. This trend was reversed in the 1950s. Provincial radio also broke the dominance of English as well as Tagalog.
Ayaw usab ka uwaw, namuhila.
Ayaw kahubog sa kalamposan.
The FM band, once dominated by American-sounding radio formats, are now favoring local sounds or, as we all know, the local musics that we have or the original pop music here in the Philippines.
However, expressions of the local culture were soon heard on the air. At first, Filipino singers and musicians performed American music live on air to complement recorded music from the United States. It was customary to imitate the voice timbre and style of American singers, and contests were held to pick the best imitators. In the mid-1930s, kundimans and Filipino folk songs began to be heard. Before the decade of the 1930s was over, 3 of the 4 commercial stations aired several Filipino language programs. While many of the radio stars were Americans, more Filipinos and Filipino mestizos attained celebrity status.
Overall, since the establishment of the Philippine radio or this popular culture in the Philippines during the early 20th century or the first ever establishment of this radio station in 1924, over the years, the Philippine radio or this popular culture in the Philippines has rapidly expanded across the Philippines archipelago, not only in Luzon but also in Visayas and Mindanao, which, by the way, because of its rapid expandation of this Philippine radio, of course, as it became a popular culture, various local stations from Visayas and Mindanao has emerged. And of course, not only did it emerge, also fostering a cultural diversity which allows the people in Visayas and as well as in Mindanao, allows them to showcase what they have or to showcase the talents or the culture, diversity culture of the Visayan people and the Mindanao people, which not only that, but they also provide informations and entertainment from news or balita, and even musics, comedy skits, or even advertisement that people from people from Visayas and Mindanao are able to gather information and entertainment that not only be seen in television or in Luzon, but also to them as local stations has emerged and become popular culture also in Visayas and Mindanao. Moreover, today, the Philippine radio still remains a vital and relevant medium connecting communities throughout the Philippines from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao to still be able to get information from the radio station that gets these people an easy way of knowing or getting information regarding news or balita or even entertainment that most especially elder people loves to hear as they relax and sit in their homes. Not only AM station but also FM station where you can see entertainment where they can hear or listen to entertainment that allows them to chill and relax. That's why this radio or the Philippine radio is a popular culture in the Philippines because even until now that we are in the modern era or we can use our phone, social media, or even television to listen to informations, news, balita, and entertainment that can be seen there, this radio still remains in the Philippines because a lot of people are still using this, especially if they have a lot of work to do. And this is an easy way for them to be able to know what's happening around the Philippines or even around the world. That's why this Philippine radio is a very important part of the Philippines popular culture, which is still being relevant and are cared for the people in the Philippines from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Hannah Jean de Gracia, and I'm going to discuss to you about the present pop culture of radio in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. The present pop culture of radio in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao may vary, as different regions may have their own unique preferences and styles. However, I can provide you with some general observations. In Luzon, particularly in Metro Manila, popular radio stations often feature a mix of contemporary pop music,
Sa ilalim ng puting ilaw, kahit sandali.
OPM, original Filipino music.
Sa panaginip na lang panakita. What if I told you that I've fallen?
And international hits.
I've been losing sleep. Wonder where we are when I was at my worst.
Stations like 90.7 Love Radio, 93.9 IFM, and 99.5 Play FM are known for playing current chart-topping hits and engaging listeners through interactive segments and daily banter.
Heartbeats with Cha-Cha. Heartbeats with Cha-Cha.
O, eto na. Kausapin po natin mula sa Dasmariñas, Cavite, 36 years old. Itago na lamang daw natin siya sa pangalang Carissa at rinig na rinig ko po sa telepono ang ulan yata yon. Hello, Ate Carissa.
Dear MOR.
Dear MOR, magandang araw DJ Bea at syempre ganoon din sa mga avid followers ng Dear MOR. Ako nga pala si Mara. I'm 30 years old, married.
Oras! Eksakto, en punto. 6:01.
Humahataw, humahagupit, lumalatay na komentaryo sa Himpapawid. 2x2. Walang takot sa paghimay sa masalimuot na isyu ng bayan. 2x2.
In Visayas, Cebu City is a hub for radio entertainment. Stations like 95.1 Barangay LS and 97.9 Live Radio provide a mix of popular music,
Mauning akong kanta para sa imoha. I'd go and travel halfway around the world. Mauning ako.
Ako nang gihatag nimo akong kasing-kasing. Ikaw na ang bahala sa pagtipig o pag-amping.
local news,
Straight to the point. Straight to the point. Tulumanon sa patas ug labas nga mga balita. interviews, investigative reports, undanong nga mga diskusyon ug de prinsipyo nga mga komentaryo. Straight to the point. Straight to the point. Ug karon, aniya ang inyong anchorman.
Non in imposumus aliquid adversus veritatem sed pro veritate.
And interactive segments.
RMN Drama presents Handumanan Sa Kaawit.
Dear Papa Joe, mayong adlaw nimo sa tanan nato mga kaigalaan nato diri sa atong istasyonan nga naminaw karon sa Barangay RT Love Stories. Mauwaw gyud ako nga mopadangan sa akong istorya Papa Joe, pero ako sang na-realize nga by sharing my story on air, it can give enough motivation sa mga tao nga nawad-an na og paglaom sa kinabuhi.
Targeted at Cebuano-speaking listeners. In Mindanao, radio stations cater to a diverse range of cultures and languages present in the region. Local stations often play a mix of mainstream pop, regional hits, and traditional music. Stations like 100.5.9 Balita FM and 1.7.1 Wild FM offer a variety of music genres, engaging content and news updates. Overall, the present pop culture of radio in the Philippines, including Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, reflects a diverse blend of mainstream pop music, local hits, and cultural elements. The radio stations mentioned above are just a few examples, and there are many other popular stations catering to different tastes regions across the country.
Welcome to a sonic journey through the beating heart of Philippine pop culture radio. In the Philippines, where traditional dances with modernity, pop culture radio serves as a pulsating reflection of the nation's diverse tastes, trends, and influences, from the catchy beats of OPM to the global rhythms that find a home on the airwaves, delves into the dynamic landscape, exploring how radio continues to be a culture cornerstone and a resonant voice in the ever-evolving narrative of Filipino pop culture. Join us as we tune into the frequencies that shape the soundscape of the nation. In the present, radio stations in Luzon such as 93.9 IFM showcases a mix of contemporary pop and OPM hits, engaging listeners to interactive segments. In the future, we might see collaborations between local and international artists on stations like 99.5 Play FM, creating a fusion of traditional Filipino music with global influences. In Visayas, 95.1 Barangay LS currently provides a blend of popular music and local news. Looking ahead, there could be thematic shows celebrating regional diversity, like programs on 97.9 Live Radio that highlight the cultural heritage of Visayan provinces, fostering a stronger sense of connection among the listeners. Mindanao's radio stations like 107.1 Wild FM currently offer a variety of music genre. In the future, we might witness the incorporation of traditional indigenous music into mainstream genres on stations such as 105.9 Balita FM, creating a distinctive Mindanaoan sound that reflects the vibrant cultural tapestry of the region. In conclusion, the future of pop culture radio in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao could involve a dynamic mix of global influences, regional pride, and celebration of cultural diversity. Radio platforms may play a crucial role in shaping and preserving the unique identities of each region while staying connected to broader pop culture trends.